All right, y'all. I'm here, and man, it's been a crazy day. It's been a crazy week, but it's Free Thinking Thursday. Any of y'all want to step on up and come into the? I'll post the link. Hold on. Let me post the link, and I'll post the link. You can come on in. Tell me about what you want to tell me about, and we can talk about it. Or y'all can just listen to me, or I can just go on a rant. Hope everybody's having a beautiful Thursday. Everything's good. I was trying to see when if the lead attorney was going to go drop something. Didn't look like he was going to drop anything. So I decided to come on in and try to drop something today myself. Y'all could go check out the videos. This is the place to come if you're looking for someone to support Black families and Black education and Black people having a foundational um, knowledge of themselves so that they can go out into the world and be successful together and, working with others. Because it's hard to be successful working with others when you have no sense of yourself. So anyway, because you'll never know when you're getting cheated if you don't have a sense of yourself. So that's what we're about here. And enough about that. Oh, please like the video if you see it, like it. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. We appreciate everybody. If you think that Black people need to have a positive influence, then if you think Black people need a positive influence, then that's what we're trying to do. We ain't trying to put the Black woman down. We ain't trying to put the Black man down. So that's probably why we don't get that many views. And whoever stepped into the picture, I'm glad to see you, whoever you are. But that's what we're about. But anyway, what I want to discuss right now, starting out, and like I said, this is Free Thinking Thursday. Whatever y'all want to talk about, I put the link out there. You can go ahead and hit me up. But the first thing what I'm going to do is Rush Ribbons put up a video about Black women, and holy smokes, it is a banger. But I'm gonna play it right now so you guys can see what I'm talking about, and then I'm gonna discuss it afterwards. So let me put it up here and have her tell her story, man. Go, whoo, ay.
This is a PSA to all of the divorced moms out there. You guys are the worst. You're the absolute worst. Even if your husband did cheat, you're a selfish liar for divorcing him. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you don't love your kids. Any mother who would shuttle their kids back and forth on and off every other week for them to live out of a suitcase, they don't love their kids. But you will claim that you do. So that makes you a liar. That makes you really selfish because you have problems too. I see how a lot of you single moms are out in public. I remember when I used to work customer service, when you leave, everyone talks about you because you're just so terrible and so awful to deal with. And then you want sympathy when you go through a divorce that you likely initiated 9 times out of 10. You want people to feel sorry for you when it's your fault you initiate. And you know what? It takes some nerve to call another woman a home wrecker because she's not the one with the wrecking ball. You're the one who decided to completely blow up your marriage and destroy your family. How can you take half of someone's pension and then claim to be the victim? And another reason why you're a liar, you made a vow to this person until death do you part. You broke that vow. Just like how he broke a vow, guess what? Now you think that gives you a right to break one as well, and it doesn't. And you're not good drivers either. I see some of you with your long SUVs, these Suburbans. Just because you have a giant SUV, that does not give you the right to drive like a maniac. And another reason you're a liar, you use the excuse that you're a mom to try to get your way. How can you use an excuse as leverage that 2 billion other women on this planet can also use? That's not a valid excuse. You guys claim to be the world's greatest moms. How could you be great at something you only do part-time? You're so angry at your husband that you're willing to see your kids only half the time if you let him see his kids at all. As if you're so faithful. I know what it was like to work in the office. You would flirt and start anything with anyone who will have you. But if someone touches his twig and berries one time, that's enough to press the record button for your whole family. Genius.
Ouch.
Genius. Doesn't make any sense.
Ouch.
And then you bring other men around your children. Who does that? You have to be so selfish to do that. If you really loved your kids, you would be focused on just raising your kids, but you're not. You're focused on you. That's why you're so selfish. As if life has no meaning unless you have another man that you can leech off of. You don't care anything about how your children will feel. Giving other men the ability to discipline your children or your husband's children as if they have the authority to do so. And then when you get mad at him, you throw him away and then you bring in another one. Just mom of the year. And when you get around your girlfriends, you pretend like, oh, life is great. Life is great. My kids are doing this. My kids are doing that. You don't even know. You're not even with them half the time. If they're not with their dad, or if you're not locked in your room with a glass of wine, or if you're not dating a new man, you don't know what your kids are doing. You completely ruined both of your lives and your children's lives over one mistake. Selfish. Making the kids choose if they want to spend time with you or their dad, guilt tripping them, just going out of your way to make everyone's lives difficult. Everyone you encounter, people at work, at the grocery store, at the post office, or wherever it is that you frequent, you need to stop and deal with it. If your husband cheated, that's your problem, not ours. How about you exercise a little forgiveness?
It's almost over, y'all.
You're not that great yourself most of the time. Do you even care about what your kids are going to think or how they're going to feel when they grow up? Never having like one place to gather all of their things, all of their clothes and toys and everything that they own are always split in between two homes. One mistake is worth your kids dealing with that for years. That's selfish. It's selfish and it's inconsiderate, and you're a liar. You're a liar if you say it's not. That's all I have to say.
Ouch. Ouch. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Oh man, Rush Rubens. Woo. Rush Ribbons, I mean. Woo. Woo. Well, first let's do the roll call. Everybody's in the house. Got my hardcores in here. Got my, like we used to say back in the day, my hard driving soldiers. We got Snuggles, we got Glenda, we got Friendsgivings, we got JP, the aspiring matriarch, and that's all we got in the house right now. So, but hey, man, I don't care if it's just one of y'all. I appreciate y'all taking the time to come and hear what I got to say, or you guys are welcome to join in the conversation. So what did y'all think about that video that Rush Rivens put out there? I mean, and she basically saying that, well, she basically saying what I've been saying is that women been not working out their relationships, so that's why they're having such a rough time a lot of times. Because here's the thing, man, if you marry somebody, and a lot of you guys that's out there that's married in long-term relationships, you know, nobody's perfect. I don't care how nice a guy looks. I don't care how sweet a woman is. Anybody can slip and fall and make a mistake. Anybody can slip and fall and make a mistake. So to expect somebody to be mistake-free for 30 years, 20 years, 30 years, that's just that's unrealistic. You know, what needs to happen is we have to understand that people are going to make mistakes, and how are we going to handle them? That's what we need to be figuring out. Just because you have a successful marriage doesn't mean it's mistake-free. It just means that you came together and got over serious situations, because anybody living together for 20 years, you're going to have serious situations come up. You're going to have deaths. You're going to have maybe, not all the time, but maybe infidelity. You're going to have people be on drugs, alcohol. You're going to have different things you got to work out together. And so that's where you're going to have to see whether you can do it or not. So, yeah, but what do y'all think about Rush Rubens? What did y'all think about that video, man? She was really hitting the sisters between the eyes. Now, I'm not as straight in your face like she is. I understand that, you know, a lot of us are learning how to be in long-term relationships today. You know, I was just looking at Showtime. They got a show called Raising Canaan. Raising Canaan. Have you guys heard of this show, Raising Canaan? Okay. And I start to write Showtime and say, thank you, Showtime. That's just what we needed. Another show about a black man selling, a black family selling dope in the hood and carrying guns and being violent to other black people. Thank you. That's just what we needed. Oh boy, great. That's going to do wonders for us, right? But if you can see, it's always every generation, they put a show out there that promotes black people being violent to other black people. Now, all the violence that's going on between England and Ireland, you don't never see that. That's not promoted to them. It's not promoted to white folks because you never see that violence. They do tremendous violence to each other, but you're not seeing that because they don't want to promote that to each other. But the entertainment for the world is to see us committing acts of violence on each other. It's like a circus. You know, you watching somebody actually doing self-destructive behavior, because in a natural state, why would you harm yourself? Why would you put yourself in a state of harm, right? But because you're not in your right mind, or we are not in our right mind collectively, we put ourselves in these self-destructive situations, right? So that's I agree with Rush Rubens. I think that black women should look into it. I'm talking about the black community, man. Maybe it might apply to all communities, but specifically right now, I'm talking about the black community, where I think a lot of women got to look at it more like, okay, are you really applying? Are you really taking accountability for what's going on in your relationship? And now, I'm not saying, let me qualify what I'm saying. I'm not saying you got somebody that's abusive, neglectful, and just a bad person, and you stay in that situation. No, that's not what I'm saying. We're talking about just a guy that was on the right track, kind of fell off a little bit, and instead of trying to work it out, you just leave. That's why I remember I was saying about Oprah Winfrey, Tyra Banks, Ricky Lake, uh, who else? Halle Berry. You leave these men that just make a mistake in cheating. That's a bad mistake. I'm not saying that's a good mistake to make. It's a bad mistake to make, to misuse somebody's trust. But it's something that can be worked out. It can be worked out. When you find the root cause, well, why is this man cheating? Are you not presenting yourself sexually enough to him? What's the issue? You got to get to the root issue. So you tell somebody just saying, "Oh, I'm cheating." You say, "Oh, this man just cheating on me. He's just a bad guy." No, he might not be a bad guy. He might just have a desire for something that he has to push down to be with you, because he don't want you to think bad of him for wanting you to wear a wig or pumps in the bed or whatever. I'm just throwing stuff out there. So anyway, so she made a comment about how women are selfish when they take the children out of a situation like that, assuming that the relationship has children in the middle. I don't know what y'all think. Well, I do know. In my opinion, I think most of the time these women react. They're having a reaction, emotional reaction to the situation. They're not really thinking about the child, right? They get so upset and so angry, and they feel like, man, I'm being done wrong. And the teaching that they got from Tyra Banks, Oprah Winfrey, all these people, all of these people, I got to get a name for them. All of these people that climb into bed by themselves, Wendy Williams, you get this teaching from them that says, oh, if a man makes a mistake, pew, you get gone. A woman can make all kind of mistake. I said something the other day, and somebody, I don't know if it was you, Snuggles, who somebody said a woman may make an outburst. See, a woman has a lot of different things they can do, and it's forgivable. Men know it ain't forgivable. You know what I mean? It's really, really not forgivable, especially when it comes to stuff that men have a hard time dealing with. See, a lot of times people don't realize men don't get, there's no real training on how to be a man. You got to kind of mess up until you get it right. And then if you get it right, then you get lucky enough to be able to do it to the point where you can take care of some other people. But if you don't, well, I'm going to put it like this. The Quran say, you're not even a man unless you got a wife and children. How you going to call yourself a man? You ain't even got a wife and a child. You ain't got a wife and children. You ain't got to deal with that type of situation. How you call yourself a man? You know what I'm saying? But to go on to Rush Ribbons and what she was saying that she basically went in on the black women. I mean, not black women, but all women. She went in on all women. I reduced it down to black women, but she went in on all women and talking about how just because a man make a mistake of stepping out, instead of going to counseling or going to find a way to try to work it out, even if you got to leave for a little while, I don't recommend, but even if you got to do that for a little while, just to calm things down, then try to put it back together. But these women right here, see, these people like Wendy Williams telling you, leave, just leave. Don't go back. Don't go back. Why should you go back? You know, there's so many men out here, but the problem is when you take those children, see, you think you're not really thinking when you take those children. When you take those children and you go back into the dating marketplace, now you got dings on your record. You know what I mean? It's like when you got somebody tried to sell me a car one time, and I was like, okay. And it was right when Carfax just first came out. So I said, okay, I'll be right back. So I went. I said I called him back the next day or whatever, right? So I got online and looked at Carfax. This car had all kind of accidents. The mileage had been rolled back. I was like, damn, this dude is trying to really get me. You know what I mean? So I just left. I just said, hey, no, man, I'm not interested no more. But I was like, I'm listening to him. I'm listening to him tell me his story. But if I hadn't checked it out for myself and tried to look into it, I would have got caught up and left with that lemon. And then I'd have been, you know what I'm saying? I'd have been toe up, right? But my point is, you got to check stuff out, man. You got to check things out. You got to see what can we do? How can we make this work? Everybody can make this work, man. You know what I mean? That's why so many, it goes back to my point of how come men don't have to approach women anymore. They really don't, because there's so many women available, and there's so many women available because women are not learning how to work things out. In the 80s and 70s and 60s, woman was more inclined to work out a situation like that. In the 80s, 90s, and beyond, women are not inclined to work. Why? Because it's more financially advantageous to just leave the relationship, get child support, alimony, palimony, whatever you can just get, or get half of everything he got, half of his, like Rush Ribbons was saying, half of his, retirement account, half of his 401k, half of his IRA, half of everything. I mean, it's just more financially, and then to try to go out and get the next man. The problem is, eventually, when you're out on the dating market, those children, I'm telling you this is how men look at it. Men don't look at you the same when you bring children into the dating market. They don't look at it the same. I know women say, what's the matter? I just got children, so what? What's the problem? No, men don't look at it like that. Men look at it like, man, okay, if I want to have sex or alone time with this lady, I got to get around all these children. How am I going to do that? That's going to be a problem. Or I'm going to have to be at some point expected to engage with this lady's children. And that's not what I'm really interested in. I'm really interested in having sex with her. So how do we get around that? How do you get around that? See, that's the thing. So most dudes, you know what they do? They just pull back. I'm saying, if you're a woman and you picked a good guy and he just made a mistake, or he did some things that you don't understand, at least try to work it out. Exhaust everything before you just walk away. Exhaust everything, because good men are not easy to find out here, nor are good women. I'm not saying good women are easy to find either. Good women are not easy to find. They're hidden behind a lot of different circumstances, and most men are not looking for the stuff that good women. They're not looking for good women. They're looking for sexual partners. It's a difference. once they find a sexual partner they're backward. Men are backwards. They look at it for like, I'm looking for a good sexual partner that can be in a long-term relationship, instead of looking for a long-term relationship that you could teach to be a good sexual partner. But most of them are poor teachers, so they can't even teach somebody how to be a good sex partner. Even if they like this or they like that or they like this type of thing, they don't know how to teach nobody nothing. They expect, everybody wants somebody to just come into the relationship already knowing exactly what you want. People are not gonna come into a relationship knowing exactly what you want. So you move on from one person to another person. Men and women do this. You move on from one person to the next person to the next person, because this person don't know how to do what you want. And this person, then you go to the next person. That person don't know how to do what you want. And then you go to the next person, instead of just taking somebody who's a good person and saying, okay, there's always going to be a learning curve. It might take this person a year to learn how to do what you want them to do in the bedroom. It might take them a year and a half or whatever. It might take some time. But we throwing good people away. Typically, it's not men. Men typically don't throw a good woman away. Even if a good woman makes a mistake, typically men will give her another shot. Now, if she makes a whole bunch of mistakes, then you got to look at that one. But typically, men don't throw women away. But I want to hear what y'all think. Is anybody out there got something to say about this situation or about anything? Today is, like I said, it's Free Thinking Thursday. Y'all want to talk about anything? I'm here. You know what I mean? We could talk about whatever. Oh, I got another one of my OGs in here. Big BG, blind guy and his wife, their life. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Yeah, whoever wants to talk about anything, I already put the link out. I'll put the link out again for y'all. For those of y'all that want to talk, I know most of you guys probably listen to me. You cooking dinner, or you reading, or you doing something else in between listening to me. So I understand. So I'm not trying to force you to get on. If you want to listen to me for an hour, cool. Because I listen to me for all the time. So, but I wanted to hear what y'all had to say, because I think the black household is in serious trouble, and something has to be done. Something has to be done, and if we don't do something about it, little by little, it's not going to be. See, most of the people are looking for a leader, some person to rise up to follow behind that person and let that person take the bullets and the arrows and all of that. No, it's going to be all of us going to have to just do a little bit at a time, and before you know it, we can all make this thing. No one person got to carry more weight than the other person. We can start in our own household with our own families, with our own people. You know what I mean? Some will listen and some won't. You know what I'm saying? Some, I don't care what you got going on. Some people gonna listen. Look at Noah. Noah had a son that said, "I'm gonna this flood ain't gonna get me. I'm gonna go and run to the tallest mountain." And Noah kept bugging God about that son, saying, "Hey, God, please, can you hold off the flood? Let me talk to my son." God, like, hey, you bother me about that boy one more time, you're gonna be in the flood with him. And that shut Noah up right there, because he realized, hey, no one man is bigger than the mission. No one person is bigger than the mission. You got a mission, no one person is bigger than your mission. And like I said before, we're all here, right, to do certain things. I'm here to help do what what I am specially equipped to do. I am a sinner, man. I mean, I came from a lifestyle. The demons had me. The demons had me. The demons had me so much, man. I couldn't do anything successful. I had great ideas, but I couldn't be successful because the demons had me. I was in torment and didn't even know it. But I found my way out of that, with God's help. And so that's the person that I can really speak to. Is a person that's caught up where you think you're a functioning fool. Oh man, Frances Gibbons, I see you here. So let me pop you in here. Let me see what you got to say here, girl. Do you think single fathers have the same stigma as single moms in the dating market? Of course not. Of course not. Single fathers do not. Women do not hold children. That most women, I would say, some women do. usually younger women will hold that against you, but older women, when I say older, I mean older than 25, they usually won't hold children for against the man, where it's the opposite for men. Younger men won't hold children against you, but older men will, because they want to have their own. They don't. They've been through all of the whole "you ain't my daddy," you didn't, they've been through the children fighting against them behind the mother's back. They've been through all that, so that's why they say I don't even want to deal with that. But yeah, in my opinion, no. Single fathers have much more leeway because, and it's not me, it's just women just are not, women are, don't look at uh, single dads like men look at single moms after a certain age. That's just my opinion. Uh, JP, so is divorce never the right choice? No, sometimes divorce is the right choice. I mean, like I said, if you got a dude going upside your head, we're not talking about that situation. We're not talking about a dude that won't get a job. We're not talking about a dude that's always saying, that's always got a negative attitude, and won't, doesn't encourage you, doesn't treat your children right. We're not talking about that dude. We're talking about a good dude, but he just making some mistakes. He just made some mistakes. A lot of these women are just cutting and running with one mistake. They're cutting and running. Why? Because they got a Facebook profile and they got dudes hitting them up on Facebook and they think, I could do better on Facebook than this situation. Let me go on and do that. They don't realize the guy that's hitting them up is trying to just have sex with them. They're not trying to, so they think they're going to flip them into a long-term relationship. And that's where they go wrong. Because as men get older, they get wiser and they get hip to the game. And they start realizing, okay, this person at some point going to try to get me to interact with this situation and join on to this situation. I'm going to cut out before that happens, but let me try to get the sex before I do that. And it's just a game. Is divorce never the right choice? No, of course, divorce is the right choice sometimes. Uh, According to Rush Ribbons, there would be no scenario where leaving was better for the children. And now, see, I don't agree with that. I'm talking about you got a good dude. Now, if that's what she's talking about, I'm not talking about a dude going upside your head and you just stay forever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about even if a dude's going upside your head, you try to get him some help. If you try to get a dude some help and he won't take it and he's still going upside your head, then come on, man. It don't make no sense to stay in that situation because that dude eventually gonna really injure you or maybe even worse, But that's how I feel. No shade, but Rush is looking for a husband. She hasn't experienced it yet. I know, man. I'm not saying I never said chicken wings behind Rush. I just said she had one video that I was intrigued by. I mean, I like the sister. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I don't agree with everything she said. I don't think I agree with everything anybody said. I don't think you guys, even though you guys are here, you guys are my hardcores, you guys don't agree with everything I say, right? In every situation, right? So, I mean, she just made a video. I thought, oh, it was pretty interesting. And I understand what you're saying, Glenda. She is looking for, and I believe she is trying to promote a certain type of vibe that a woman should be, and she herself is trying to live that life. And we'll see if it works for her. We'll see if it works. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's some points in there that may not work too well, but I'm holding back until I see if what she's doing works. JP, how do you explain to a child that not having their father there every day is better than him being there, pouring nothing into them? Well, see, JP, I'm like I said, it depends. See, I'm not talking about you stay with a knucklehead and you just hang in there. If that's what y'all getting from Rush Ribbons, then that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is a good dude. He takes care of his children. He's paying his bills. He's doing things. He's just a little crazy, like I was. I was doing everything. I was functioning, but I was a complete fool. I was an idiot. I was a deviant. You know what I mean? So I had to, I you know, I had to have my life literally stopped so that I could see how deviant I was. And then God had to enter in and fix it, right? Or not fix it, but show me the path to walk down to fix it. It was me. I actually had to do the work. But so I'm not saying, oh, you stay with a man because even though he's going upside your head, he ain't doing this. We talking about a man, a good dude. See, just because a dude is a good dude, don't mean he ain't gonna make no mistakes. You got a good man out there. He's a good looking dude. He goes to work every day. He smells good, looks good every day. Women are on him. Women are gonna be on him at work. While he's at work, there's women on him. Hey, how you doing? Hey, big head, how you doing? I bought you some lunch. I bought you this. I bought you. He got to deal with that. He might have to deal with that. That's why I said women are always in competition. The woman is always in the competition to keep the man, because you got to compete with not only, okay, so you married the guy, right? Now you got to compete with the women at work. You got to compete with the women at church. You got to compete with the women whatever other social outings that he goes to. You got to compete with all those women. And if you fall off in a moment of weakness, he might make a mistake. He might make a mistake. So, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. JP, yes, but mothers who are leaving for the right reason are lumped into the same bucket with the double agents. This is no distinction made for there's no distinction made for the young men listening and judging their mother's choices. Yeah, it's a bad situation, but like I said, if there's no man around at all for the woman to, especially when they have sons, if there's no man around at all, that's what I said in a video I made earlier today. You gotta find a positive male, not just a man, but a positive male. You can't leave it to the TV. TV ain't gonna do it. You gotta find men and try to have them around men. That's positive, and I know that's a challenge for most people, most women, because you're working, then you got to come home. You may be in school trying to get a better job to make more money to pay the bills or whatever. So it might be challenging, but got to be a brother, uncle, cousin, somebody that you can, try to work it out with, or put them in a program. Sports. That's why sports is so good. Sports helps these young men see they're around men, and they see, in sports, nothing's fair. It ain't about fair. Whoever can get the most touchdowns, that's who gets all the honey. And if you just out there blocking, no, you're not probably gonna get a whole bunch of hoorahs. But that's what I think. Young guys out here, it's hard for them because they just want sex. Their hormones are exploding. They just want sex. So they don't care if the woman has a child. They don't care you divorced. They don't care because they're in from their vision. All they want to do is have sex. Their children are just obstacles. There's some guys that they want to be in. They see the woman. They experience being around her. They feel good. They get that feeling around being her. They want to be in her life. They want to be in her life. And so they say, I accept these children as well. Those guys are far and few between. Most guys just say, I just want to have sex with you. And they view the children as hurdles. How do I get around that hurdle there so I can get into the bedroom with her? JP, these young men become red pill and the community suffers. No, I'm going to tell you how men can become red pill. Men become red pill because they get their heart broken. Once they get their heart broken, that's when they become red pill. When they go through enough heartache over a woman, that's when they become red pill. And they don't have a man that can explain that that's part of the game. So you don't understand. That's part of the game, is getting your heart broken and getting your feelings hurt and stepping on somebody else's feelings. That's part of the game, as Jamie Foxx said. It's part of the game. You're going to hurt some people and you're going to get your feelings hurt. But that's part of the game. You got to chalk it up to the game. JP, again, that was my father. Oh, man. He married my mother, had two, had another, and they stayed married for 21 years till her passing. Well, that's a beautiful situation. That's what we all want, right? That's what we all trying to work towards, is that type of situation. That's what we're trying to work towards. See, I'm doing this because, like you said, I see Me and Brother Jarvis, we have jobs where we come in contact with a lot of young men, a lot of young men. So when we listen to them talk and they talk so crazy, we go like, what? Like we came up in the 70s and the 80s. So men were a whole different type of mentality back then. So now you got men that's like, hey, all I want to do is burn through as many women as I can. You know what I mean? Whosoever I can devour, whosoever I can find in the path of righteousness, I can devour them. I'm gonna devour them, right? And so that's the scary thing. And then what they don't realize is you can't build a nation. You can't put a nation together. When I say a nation, I mean the black nation that's here in North America. You can't put it together if all we doing is hitting and running. We gotta have to start focusing on nuclear families. Plus, it's healthier, it's safer, it's less expensive. So I mean, it's nothing but positives going into the nuclear family as opposed to just running around hitting and running, in my opinion. JP with another one. You don't believe young men go through a red pill stage when they see their mother's behavior matching those of the women they rejecting them? I don't think so. It's not. See, men make an exception for their mother. They make exceptions for their mother. You know what I mean? They make an exception for that one. Their mother and his sisters are an exception case in most cases. Okay, what really makes a man red pill is when they get out when they get into the field, when they start field testing the stuff that their mother taught them, and it's all wrong. Oh, just treat her nice. She'll be okay. She'll appreciate what you're doing. She's a good woman. And they go out and the woman is no good. And the mother knew she was no good. The mother was just hoping that she would turn over a good leaf, right? Most black mothers are going to try to, support you in your your misunderstanding. They try to support you as much as they can because they don't want to hurt your feelings and tell you straight out. Most mothers. Now you got some black mothers that'll tell you straight out, come over here. Let me talk to you for a minute. Hey, this girl is no good. I remember, I'm not even going to say his name. I had a person that was very close to me. He brought his fiance to my house to meet me because he felt like I was, he wanted to bounce her off of me and see how we got along so he could kind of see whether he should move forward with it because he felt like, well, if she get along with him, then it should be okay, right? So he brings the girl over, and the girl, I don't smoke. The girl starts smoking at my table, at my dinner table, and I said, I'm sorry, we don't smoke in this house. She got such an attitude. She was like, what? What? I said, yeah, if you want to smoke, you have to step outside. Really, I don't let nobody smoke on my property. I don't let nobody drink or smoke on my property. I had to kick one of my oldest boys' friends off my property on the 4th of July because he was trying to drink something. I said, oh, no, partner. Can't do that here. But anyway, when she went outside, I told this person, I said, hey, I said, you need to drop that chick right now. You need to chop her right now. She is no good. Did he listen? No, of course he married her, had 2 children with her. They went through a tumultuous divorce. Everything was as bad as it could possibly be. It was the worst of the worst of the worst. But that Poe sister passed away. But I'm just saying it was just a mess. It was just a mess. Anyway, no. I don't believe most men are not looking at their mother, even though their mother gives them advice with women. Most men are not taking it. Most men are not looking to their mother and saying, I'm going to do something like my mother. No, in my opinion. JP, do you believe black mothers choose the sisterhood over their sons? No, I think they choose their sons over the sisterhood. I think the bad part about a lot of black mothers is they expect the man they're dating to do the opposite of what they would tell their son to do. Like if they wouldn't want their son dating a woman that was, in debt or had a bunch of kids, they would. But if they got a bunch of kids and they're in debt, they want a guy dating them. They want that guy to date them. but they would not tell. They would tell their son, "No, don't do that. Don't do that." It's that is always perplexed me about black mothers. But I've only dated black women, so that's all I can talk about. Um, Sister Glenda, my mom and dad were together since they were young. When they left North Carolina, my mom was 18, my dad was 28. My dad died in 1992. Sorry to hear that. And my mom in 2011. Hey, you know what I mean? Oh, sorry to hear that. But, if somebody passed away, you're absolved of, right? They say until death do us part, right? When the person die, you're absolved of, you don't have to be loyal to a memory. You know what I mean? You can still remember the person and move on and fall and be in love with someone else. You can still move forward. But that's a nice little story. Hey, that's what we all want, right? To death do us part. Um, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, getting back to this question, JP. Many men, many men, many men make the mistake of listening to their mother for dating advice. The mother would tell them what to do, right? And sometimes the woman won't, because they want to hurt their feelings. They'll tell, oh, she's okay, right? But that's why I always say, you got to meet the family. Why do you have to meet the family? Because in today, see, my youngest son, 18, 19. My youngest son is 19. He's got to deal with things I never had to deal with in the dating market when I was 19. See, you never had to deal with the fact that people are actually getting themselves genetically altered. You got 19-year-old men out there that have breast implants and they're walking around with a male member, but they got breast implants and they dress like a girl and they look like a girl and they got a wig on or a weave or whatever, and they look like a female. See, my son have to deal with that. So that's why I always tell him, you need to go home and go meet the family. You need to meet the family because you need to know the origin of this person. Did they start out female? If you want children in your world, right? Most men do. I would say 98 or 99% of men want children. They're of their own, from their own essence. Okay, you need to know from the beginning whether this person started out female. So you go to the house, you meet the mother, and you go around and you look at the pictures. Do you see a little girl? Okay, then you can go talk to the mother because the mother will tell you. The mother will tell you. Katrina used to be Carl. The mother will tell you. The mother's not going to let you. If the mother sees that you really have something for this woman, the mother's going to tell you. Or you're going to see evidence. Or you're going to see breadcrumbs around somewhere. Something's not going to add up. Why ain't there no baby pictures of this woman around? What's going on? You know what I mean? Especially she don't have no children. What? Why ain't no baby pictures of her? What's going on? So you need to know stuff like that. That's why you got to meet the family, so you can see what's going on. I'm talking about men. You got to meet. I'm not saying they're gonna get along with their family. Some people don't get along with their family, and it's just one of those things, right? But even if they don't get along with their family, the mama's gonna tell you. The mother's gonna tell you. A black mother's gonna tell you, hey, Carlita used to be Carl, right? I just want you to know before you get all your eggs in one basket, right? They're gonna tell you. That's something you need to know. See, my son has to deal with that. We had to deal with that. When I was coming up, man, people like that kind of congregated together. So the lines wasn't ever crossed. It wasn't nobody dressed like a woman trying to get involved with men. That didn't happen back then. Now you have the situation where people like that they go places where men hunt for women. And so they create an issue for they have identity theft because they create an issue. So the man thinks he's chasing a woman when he actually chasing another man. What is going to happen when he finds out that, you know what I mean? He lifts up that dress and he finds a surprise under there. What's going to happen? We already saw what happened we saw it happen many times, right? That's why Jenny Jones got a show taken off the air. Remember, many, many years ago, there was a show called Jenny Jones, and she had people on there who had crushes on coworker, right? And she brings this guy on, and they tell him, oh yeah, it's a coworker got a crush on you, and they bring a dude out. That dude went back and when they got back home, that dude killed him. He killed the guy that brought him on the Jenny Jones show. That's why she got her show canceled, and she got sued into oblivion. Right? Same thing. It was a Marine down here. Now those people were white people. These are black people I'm talking about. Now there was a Marine down here in San Diego, and he met this chick on Craigslist. She came down to spend the weekend with him. He thinks he's dealing with a female. She came to his house to spend the weekend. He lifts up her dress. He finds a surprise. He kills him. He kills the guy. Family's looking for him for about 2 or 3 weeks. Finally, they go through his computer. They see he had a hookup. He hooked up with this dude. But this dude got shipped to Afghanistan. So he was in Afghanistan when they caught him. See, man, you have to really, in this today's world, it's so crazy, man. You got to be right and exact and on point. And we see so many different these young guys, man. They're not getting the right information. You can't. So what they do. So here's what JP. Most of them do. Most of them get their information off the TV. That's why I said, oh, here we go again with Raising Canaan, another show about what a black people selling drugs in the hood. Thanks. That's just what we need. Another show like that, right? Let me get to some more of y'all. JP, me too. Non-binary pronoun nonsense. JP again. That should be a movie. Big BG. I think you're the first man I've heard to say once men start field testing and realize their mom's advice wasn't good, then they start going sour. That's exactly what happens. You guys. They go out there and the mom been telling them and Oprah been telling them, be a nice guy. You'll be a nice guy. These women will love you when you're a nice guy. Don't be an asshole like the rest of these people. Be a nice guy. So they go out there to be a nice guy. And then they get stepped on. All they get hoof prints all over them, right? They go, well, I don't understand what's going on. They don't figure it out until about 25 or 26. Then they go, oh, it's not that they're complaining about this person, but yet that person is still coming over their house. Oh, okay. Now I see. That is what they want. That's who those are the people that's getting into bed with these people. Okay. And so they figure it out. And then then they go into the red pill situation. If they get hurt enough, and for example, they get into a long-term relationship with one of these girls. They get into a long-term relationship with one of these girls, and the girl cheat on them with one of their friends. They do something because they just know they're just such a nice person, right? They're such a nice guy. That's how they get to the red pill. They get hurt enough, they go red pill because those red pill guys take them in and they say, we understand what you're talking about. Women are trash. They're only good for one thing, pumping and dumping, right? As opposed to saying, what were you doing that made it so that a woman could do you like that? I was on the Pascal podcast. I was on the Pascal Show podcast. Shout out to Pascal. And so I was on this podcast, and a young dude came up and he said, oh, I knew this girl for a long time. I used to work with her, and she hit me up and she said, hey, let's go out on a date, right? Let's go out on a date. So he said, okay, let's go out. So no, he asked her out. He asked her out. And so he asked her out on a date. She was like, okay, whatever. So she went out on a date with him. And in the process of being out at the dinner, she was constantly on her phone. So he was like, why are you constantly on your phone? And she said, oh, well, everybody's always on their phone. That's just how we are now, right? So Pascal asked him, hey, man, was that cool? Did you like that? No, I don't. He said, no, I didn't like that. So I left her. I told the waiter, I went to the bathroom. I told the waiter, hey, give me my check, give her check, and I'm out. So he said he left. And he said, This is the kicker. He said, I'm not going to go out with her again. Instead of saying, and I said to him, I said, that was disturbing that you said that, because what I didn't hear you say is, I'm never going to let that happen to me again. Instead, you said, I'm not going to go out with her again, meaning you're going to let somebody else do that to you. Like, you didn't even see it. You looking at it as just her. Like, she got the problem. It's not her with the problem. Because I asked him again, I said, why do you think she felt that it was okay to do that while she was sitting there with you? He never answered that question. And I understand most men don't want to be put on the hot seat. I get it. But he never answered the question. But the point is, what is he doing that's making a girl feel like it's okay to be on the phone while she's with him? Well, he was a nice guy. If you listen to the guy talk, he was obviously a nice guy, obviously beta male person. And and when I say beta, I'm talking about he's not going to confront her when she does something that is out of line with what he wants to have happening. He's not going to confront her about it. That's what I mean when I say beta male. I don't know all these other different meanings of it, but when I say the alpha dog will confront the woman, but a beta male will not. He'll do like he did. Instead of confronting her at the table, he went to the waiter behind her back and said, cash me out and, let her pay for her own meal. And he thought he did. He thought he was like, that was a good thing. I mean, I guess it was, but the point is, why you go back to the table and confront her and say, hey, I'm leaving. If you want to be on your phone, that's cool. No problem. But I'm leaving. Anyway, let me get to Glenda. Glenda, my son and daughter-in-law have been together since high school. They married last July and now got a 2-month-old grandson. You're right. Laquita upbringing has a lot to do with it. Yeah, it has a lot to do with it. I'm not saying it's everything. I'm not saying upbringing is everything, because sometimes you can have some really effed up parents. I did. I mean, I loved them. They were good people, but they were always at each other's throats. So I had to realize I wanted to do something different with my life. But what I'm saying is, you got to go around them. You got to go around the family and see, especially for the girls, you got to go see those baby pictures. And you know what? Even the women now, you got to go and see if this male was born a male. You know what I'm saying? Let the mama tell you what's going on. Look for those little boy pictures, right? Mr. Stewart, glad to have you, Brother Stewart. Among the hard driving soldiers over here. Maybe he didn't want that confrontation that comes along with confronting a modern woman. Yeah, man, but you know what? It's okay. I mean, you don't have to see. I hear what you're saying, Mr. Stewart. And you're right. You probably don't want to get into a screaming match because you ain't gonna win with a woman. That's for sure. And you especially ain't gonna win with a black woman. Forget it. You're not gonna win. But all you have to do is walk away. Hey, I'm leaving. Here you go. Boom, boom, boom. I'm out. What do you think you're doing? I mean, she just let her talk to the back of your jacket, right? I mean, you don't have to we don't have to get ridiculous with each other. Once they show you disrespect, then that's not the person for you. This is not the person for me because you showing me disrespect. And once I see disrespect, that's a pillar. That's a pillar. You can't build a house without 4 walls. Respect is one of the walls in that house of love. And I can't have a house full of love without that respect on there. Respect is one of the walls. You can't build a house without that 4th wall. So you got to have respect. If you don't have respect, and I mean respect where I'm not saying a woman don't disagree with you. Sometimes she will disagree with you. You got to have somebody that's going to disagree with you. That's why I love Brother Jarvis so much, because he's not the kind of guy that's going to just agree with me. He'll agree with me when he agrees with me, but when he don't, he won't. And he won't let it go. And I can appreciate that about him. But at the same time, if you with a woman and if she just going to let you do something stupid and she know better, your woman got a degree in finance and she's going to let you go down to the car dealership and pay 24% for a 7-year car note. You know what I mean? Paying $200 or $300 over what the car actually should be paying. You should be paying. Come on. Does that woman really care about you? Or does she care about herself? Because she's going to be missing that money as well. No, that's a good topic. Men going red pill, that's a result of hurt. If you listen to most of their stories, I was hurt at this point. I was hurt at that point. I was hurt at this point. I was hurt at that point. This woman did this to me. This woman did that to me. You never hear them saying, man, I got to look at myself. I should have saw that coming. See, this person was doing this and that, and all these games was being played, and I wasn't paying attention. No, they don't say that most of the time in the red pill community. Most of the time. Red pill community, most of the time, it's always, the woman did this to me. The woman did that to me. The woman did this to me. That's why I'm doing this. I got for child support, alimony, or whatever unfortunate situation they go through, and they don't put the thing 2 and 2 together and say, man, what accountability do I have in this situation developing like just like that young man I was talking to when I was telling him, I said, man, why do you think she came to a dinner date with you with the mentality that I'm going to be on the phone? So let me finish that story. So Brother Pascal was saying to him, man, she probably had you in her mind as a friend already. You wanted to be romantic. She had you as a friend. Or you did something to make her shift her mentality to a friend. Once she looked at you and saw how you was behaving, that energy you gave her made her not want to look at you as a romantic interest. Let me see what Mr. Stewart got to say. Most men acknowledge their simping in the RP community. No, man, they acknowledge their simping, but they put 90% of the blame on the woman, though. That's what I'm saying. They say, hey, I was a simp, but they say it like they don't have no responsibility for what they did. In other words, they don't have the responsibility for how could you be a simp unless you got yourself open to be a simp, right? Unless you was the one that was not simping. And so the answer to not simping is don't simp. Not I'm gonna hate all women, right? That's not the answer. The answer is don't simp, right? That to me, right? The answer to that problem is, okay, if you simped or you made a mistake, in which that's why most RP guys are like that, because they've been hurt. But so their thing is, I'm not going to get hurt anymore because I'm not going to allow a woman to hurt me. And instead of looking at it like this, I allowed the woman to hurt me. I allowed that. I don't have to allow no woman to hurt me because I can control that situation by having my eyes open and watching for what I'm doing from the beginning. I'm never going to be the kind of person that's going to be so caught up in somebody that if they do something that's going to affect me in a negative way, I can't just say, you know what, this is too much, I can't walk away. But what do? No. In other words, they're basically saying, I can't control myself. I know me. I can't control myself. I'm not going to be able to confront bad behavior the way I want to. So instead of doing that and practicing that, I'm just going to leave women alone. And to me, it doesn't make any sense on that level. The RP community has a lot of true points. They have a lot of good points. But to really stamp out all the simping, you got to say to yourself, why does a woman think I should be a simp? Why does she look at me as a simp? What am I doing to have her vision seeing me as a simp? That's, to me, a better way of handling the situation than opposed to being like, oh, well, all women are bad because all women are going to try to use me. Why are all women trying to use you? Why are they all trying to use you? See, why is every woman you run into all trying to use the same thing we tell these women, right? We tell the women the same thing. Why is every guy that you're around an asshole? I mean, we hold them accountable, but we don't hold ourselves accountable. That's the situation that makes me like, what's going on? That's why, I kind of understand where they're coming from, the RP community, with some things, but most of the things they come with, when they blame everything on the woman, that's when I go, wait a minute, you can't just blame everything on the woman. You got some accountability in this situation, right? Like anyway, like I was telling the youngster, I was telling him, so Pascal was asking him, hey brother, do you think you got any responsibility in this situation? He was like, no, I don't. He didn't really look at it that way. And I was like, man, I said, man, see, that's the problem. If you don't say to yourself, I'm never going to let a woman do this to me again, instead of I'm not going to go out with her, you're just going to find somebody else that's going to do it to you again. Now, let me ask y'all a question, because he had to go through that to see that. Do you think if you went out on a date, and I'm talking about any of you guys, if you guys went out, the person sitting across from you, if that person had a cell phone and they was on their cell phone constantly while they was talking to you, would you consider that person a date? Would you consider that a date, a romantic date? I would not. And that's what I was trying to tell him. And that's what Pascal was trying to tell him. Pascal was like, hey, you did something to push yourself into the friend zone, because you friend zoned yourself. But I don't think friend zone is a bad place to be. Well, I don't think no place to be is a bad place to be. The only bad place to be is on that gurney when they rolling you out of your house. That's the bad place to be. But other than that, just because a woman say, oh, or she treat you like if I was on a date, if I was that dude and I was on a date, let me show you how I would have handled that. If I was on a date with somebody and I'm sitting across from them and I'm trying to talk to her and she's constantly in her phone, I would just say, okay, hey, I can see you probably, got a lot of stuff to do. Hey, let's just do this another time. Because I don't really want to be out with somebody that's doing this. I thought we were just friends. Oh, I didn't know that. I was trying to see if maybe we could, get to know each other a little better. What? Nah. I said, oh, that's cool. Then you can pay for your own meal and I can pay for my own meal. Let me do that right now. Boom, 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 and go. What do you mean? Where you going? I'm out. What do you mean? Why am I sitting here? You have nothing to lose at that point. Just leave. See, but we want to get violent. Like I did a video today, man. Dude puts a gun on his ex-girlfriend because she moved on and got a new boyfriend. That's crazy. That's crazy. But that's where we are as men. As black men, that's where we are. The solution to all of our problems is violence. We got a problem with our brother, violence. We got a problem with our sister, violence. We got a problem with our family member, violence. We got a problem with somebody at work, violence. We got a problem in the store, violence. And we think that's black culture. That ain't black culture. Let me tell you something, man. Most of us don't even know what black culture is. Black culture don't have nothing to do with. In black culture, violence is only a form of self-defense. Violence is only to be used, like Malcolm X said. It's only to be used when that's the only way to communicate with the other person. When you can no longer communicate with the other person, violence is the last form of communication. And so we don't want to drop down to the last form of communication. We'll give you every opportunity. But see, we do that for everyone else. For white people, Asian people, Latino brothers, we will extend every other way of communicating to them before it gets to violence. But with black people, first thing, violence right off the top, right? What you say? Boom, boom, boom. Nigga, what? Right? We ready to put the hands on somebody, right? Or worse. So I'm watching this video. This young brother pulls a gun on him, and he is screaming at the new boyfriend. He's screaming at the ex-girlfriend and some other dude that was with them in front of her apartment building. And I'm like, what is going on here, man? Is this what we reduce it? Is this what we coming to, black men? Is this what we coming to? Well, we get to the point where we can't even take a L. Remember, man, if you old enough, You came up in the 70s and the 80s, man. But see, even our songs talked about our songs talked about how you got to take an L every now and then. We had songs that showed you. Now, what are they songs about? You listen to their music, man. Their music telling them, you know what, you can't take no L's. Never take an L. See, L's build character. I know people say, oh man, I ain't never taking no L. No, L's build character. L's build character and L's build friendships. You got to think about it. Men, I don't know about women, but men, when you had a fight with somebody, man, they either became your best friend or you just got so much respect for them, you left them alone, right? Yeah, because you realize, hey, this person is just as gritty as me. I respect that. Even though if you didn't like you had to respect the fact that he put his hands on you and you put your hands on him. You had to respect that, right? You either became best friends or you just left each other alone. You had a healthy respect for each other, right? Not today. These dudes ain't fighting, man. They pick up a weapon and just hit each other. And I notice it's mainly with black people. They don't do it with nobody else. They know better. So how do we get black men? What are we gonna do? The culture is so violence oriented towards other black people. Like I said, we got this brand new show out here, Raising Canaan. Go check that out on Showtime. Raising Canaan, right? 50 Cent gives us another. We thought Ghost wasn't violent enough. Ghost wasn't a toxic enough situation. Now we got Raising Canaan, which is a whole nother generation that could get started on being violent to black people, watching black people be violent to each other, right? Learning that, picking up that. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, those of us that know better got to do better, right? Those of you that know what y'all know, everybody in the chat, all my hard driving soldiers, JP, Glenda, Big BG, blind guy, his wife, their life, Friendsgiving, Glenda, you know what I mean? Mr. Stewart, all y'all know what y'all need to do, man. I mean, it's just each one teaching one. Nobody have to go out there and go through be in no parade. What is a parade gonna do? A parade don't do nothing. Parades don't for us. Parades don't do nothing for us. For us, we got to get an economic base. We got to get our people to understand that they need to come in and get an economic base. And how do we get an economic base? Well, I put out the jobs on every Sunday. I put out the job of the week. So our young men could know, hey, there's jobs. They can get a job. If they want it, they can go for it. Ain't nothing stopping them but them. I put their history out there so they can know their history. So they don't have to feel like, oh, I'm just a second-class person here. You're not a second-class person here. This is just as much your country as it is any else's. So take advantage of it. You're not no sucker for taking advantage of an education. A lot of our people think that they because they get an education. Let me tell you how sick our people are. And I'm talking about black people in particular. Let me show you how sick they are. They so sick that they will make that person that's getting an education feel bad for getting an education. They make them feel like a sucker. It's stupid. It really is, but that's what they do. And unfortunately, we got to combat that. We just got to talk to our children, man. That's the whole point. If we just would talk to our children, debrief them every day if you can. Some of us don't live with our children, but if you can just pick up the phone and call them, hey, what's going on? I mean, if they want to listen. Now, if you got children that don't want to listen to you, what can you do? Right? Me and Brother Jarvis got that going on, but what can you do? But eventually they'll understand, hey, even my oldest boy was like, man, one time, my boys, I kept them out of gangs. I kept them out of that gang shit. I kept them out of that bullshit in the street. They had to be home at a certain time. It wasn't no funny business. The only one that really gave me a problem was my oldest one. That was my rebel. But even then, by today's standards, he was a pushover, right? But you know, he was my oldest boy. He was the one that was the rebel in the bunch. He was the one that gave me the most trouble. And especially after he graduated high school, he started getting into a bunch of different situations that I always had to come pulling him out of. But anyway, the point is, one day he was sitting and kicking it with these, for whatever reason, man, he got this strong attraction to being around real tough dudes. Anyway, he was sitting around a bunch of these gangsters, so they telling stories. So the one gangster was telling a story about how he had gotten molested at a sleepover. He got molested. He spent the night at a friend's house and got molested by his friend's older brother, and it messed him up bad. And he said that's why he lifted so much weights and he got so big, because he didn't want that to happen to him no more. Right? This dude had been doing this to him for years. And so I told my son, I said, so my son said to me, man, thanks. And I said, what? He said, thanks. You never let us spend a night over nobody's house. I said, no, I didn't. Because I knew what could happen. He said, yeah. And I got to say thank you for that, because this dude, I thought he was super tough and everything. Kind of find out, man, he had been, getting his salad tossed for most of his teenage years. That's how come he got so big. And I was like, damn. But see, as a father, those are rare moments, man. You ain't never gonna hear, you ever rarely ever gonna hear, thank you for doing this for me. Thank you. That's why nobody want to be no father. These guys don't want to be no fathers. They want their responsibility. Why? Because they ain't no hoopla for it. All you get is a ugly tie and a bad pair of socks on Father's Day, right? I just tell them, leave the house, leave me alone. I just want to watch TV. Leave me alone on Father's Day. But my point is, what's my point? We got to do more for our children. I know y'all didn't probably think, well, I'm going to come here. I asked y'all to come to hit me up. I put the link out there. I asked y'all to hit me up. But since y'all going to let me talk, I'm going to talk. Okay? We got to do better. The whole thing was, I started out saying, hey, this thing about Rush Rubens and these single moms raising these children. Well, the single moms, that's really the issue, is the single moms raising the young men. That's really where the biggest gap of understanding is coming from, because these single moms that don't have the boys in some type of program or something where they seeing men or they around men, they are showing the boy how to be emotional. So these men are emotional. Like the man I was talking about earlier that pulled the gun on these people, on his ex-girlfriend. That's an emotional response. Girl don't want to be with you. The girl don't want to be with you. Move on. Most of the time, tell the truth. Most of the time, when somebody left you, it was a good thing. It worked out good, right? I remember one time a girl left me. I saw her years later. She's probably about 200 or 300 pounds heavier than she was when I saw her. And she looked bad. And I was like, ooh, I didn't want to embarrass her. So I waited in my car until she got her gas and paid and everything and left. I left. I stayed in my car until she left, because I didn't want to embarrass her by going out and saying, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. I'm doing this. I'm got this job. I'm doing this. Everything's great. She looked, because I could tell her car was busted. She was busted. She had a busted look on her face. It was bad. Yeah. So anyway, how we gonna get men to get or black men to get better? Because that's really what I'm interested in. I think I think the whole world will be better if Black people are better. That's the truth. That's my true feeling, is if we're better, because people copy off of us. They copy off of what they see us doing up to a certain point. They don't copy us in the self-destructive part. They do, but that's not promoted to them. It ain't really promoted to them. But they copy off of us, whatever they see us doing. So if we can be more virtuous, then that's the problem. Well, that's the problem. How do we sell virtue to the young Black man on the street? How do we do that? How do we tell him, these RP guys, the young ones, not the older ones, the old heads, ain't nothing going to change them. They're just they are done. I'm talking about the new ones that get introduced to RP. And then, how do we say to them, whoa, before you jump into the RP situation, let's have a look at this. Let's look at the total situation. And there's a reason why you're doing this. There's a reason why you're so sexually charged. There's a reason why you're making so many mistakes, because you're chasing your your phallus around instead of chasing your virtues. See, virtue is the scale on which you weigh everything that comes across your life. Virtue is the scale. I want money. What? And this person tell me I can get money easy. Okay. Am I going to be able to sleep? You need, the virtue is what you need to weigh. It's a scale you need to weigh everything against, so that you can know whether you on the right side of everything, on the wrong side, right? But our people are not learning, especially the young men, and even the women. They're not learning the virtues. They don't have virtues. YouTube is even promotes these violence against us, but nobody says that to them. I understand. I mean, nobody. You can't really say, you can't really bite the hand that's feeding you, right? So everybody stays away from this topic. They stay away from it. But I'm trying to hit a little bit at a time. Put a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. We don't hate nobody here. We don't hate nobody because of their color. We look at it like this. There's nobody better than nobody else just because their color is lighter or darker. There's nobody better than nobody else because they was born on one part of the planet and another person born on another part of the planet. There's nobody that's better because they was born into this religious belief system instead of this religious belief system. What makes a person better is their service to the human family. Your service to the human family, that's what makes you better. That what makes you better. And it really don't make you better. It makes you a better teacher of others, where you can teach how to do the same thing, how to you can recreate yourself in other people, right? Like the man in the book, Jesus. He recreated himself in the other people, in his disciples, right? That's how you know you got a good message, because you can recreate yourself in other people. And even though people come against them, they still want to stick to the message. Whereas it's different for sex workers. They can recreate themselves in other people, but the world is like embracing them. If this world is embracing you, might be a problem. Might be a problem if the world is embracing you. JP, does there need to be a particular doctrine for young men different from Black women? Yes, absolutely. 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 You cannot teach Black women and Black men the same way. You just can't do it. Well, let me take that back. You can do whatever you want to do, but you're not going to get good results doing that. That's what I should have said. Yeah, Black men, there's so many things that Black men need to be taught that Black women are just not able to see. Black women won't see it, the reality of, right? Black women just won't see that reality because the way the society is set up, women are really you're held behind a screen. You don't really see what goes on when it's just man on man. It's just men there. You don't see the injustices and other stuff that you got to work your way through when you on the other side of that wall. So You can't teach you can teach concepts, but certain things have to be taught by, just like a man. You can't teach a man the way you're going to teach a woman, right? Why would if you're going to teach a young girl about her her hygiene and sanitation, you can't. Why would you teach that to a young man? You don't need to teach that to a young man because he doesn't, that's information he don't need. He probably could tell somebody else, but he's not going to use that information. So why would you need to teach it to him? Same thing with women. With certain things that you're never going to be in a fist fight. Probably won't be in a fist fight if you're lucky, but you probably won't be with other men competing for a job or, trying to work on a team of people that don't like you, dealing with a bunch of men that don't like you because you black. You're not going to be in that situation. So, yes, black women and black men need to be taught differently certain things. Yes. JP. So many of our youth deny religion. True. How do we get them to be community minded and doctrine orientated without religions? Here's the thing. Here's what we do. We do like Malcolm X said. Leave your religion at home. You see, me and Brother Jarvis, we both Islamic, but we don't say, hey, everybody on here need to be Islamic. We don't say that because that may not work for everybody. I have met so many different people. I mean, good people of all different kinds of faiths. Good people. I would say, hey, I would bring this person in before I brought one of my family members in, right? So we don't push no particular religion. We push the oneness of God, and you find that in for yourself. So how do we do that? We don't push the religion. And I always got to go to Brother Jarvis sometimes and say, hey man, you pushing a little too hard on this or that. And he'd be like, oh yeah, man, you're right, sorry. But it's because our love is so good, and we want to tell you everything, but we can't do it because it's going to turn people off. When you start talking about religion, it's going to turn people off because the people are so full of demons. The demons are not going to want to sit there and hear you talking about religion because they ain't going to want to let that get into your head so you can start trying to remove the demons from your own person, right? So they ain't going to want to sit there and listen. So how we got to do it is we got to sneak up on them. We got to cover it in something like the late attorney said. We got to put it in a vessel. We got to put it in different things that, we used to could put it in the music, but the rap industry has been taken over by the mega distribution companies. And so those companies control what rap music actually hits the streets. And then same thing for now these independent people, they are looking for the money and they putting out stuff exactly like this. So all that's hitting the street in the music is the violence. Same thing on the TV. I just talked about Raising Canaan. I mean, we're against the 8-ball, but we got to wrap it up in something where they can digest it. No religion. The days where you could come out and say, you got to be a Christian, you got to be a Muslim, you got to be a Jew, you got to be this, those days are over. Now you got to come with something better than that. JP, man, aspiring matriarch. So what are the foundational principles that make up the virtuous man? A virtuous man is dependable. He say he gonna do something, he gonna do it unless something major happen. If he say he gonna do something, he gonna do it. So you can depend on him. If he tell you no, that means no. If he tell you yeah, that means yeah. He's humble. He has humility. I'm saying he's humble. There's some instances where humility is not going to work. But for the most part, he's humble. He's humble enough to think to himself, maybe I made a mistake in this situation. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something. Me and the lead attorney had an issue, and I was, man, I mean, I sent the lead attorney a email, and I went in on him, man. I went in on him. And I made a video that was even worse. I wouldn't have no subscribers if I released that video. But he hit me back the same day, man. He said, "Hey, bro," he said, "Man, you know, I stick by what I said, but I didn't mean to offend you. Come on, let me apologize to you, man." And then we figured out, oh, okay, I came on at the wrong time. He thought I was coming on to do X, Y, and Z, but I was actually coming on to do A, B, and C, and we just got our signals crossed. But if he wasn't humble enough to understand it and think, man, wait, what did I do? And if I wasn't humble enough to say, yeah, maybe me too, what did I do? We wouldn't have worked that out. It would have been just another situation where I'm mad at him, he mad at me, and it was just a dumb situation. But anyway, you got to be humble. You got to be giving. You have to be willing to give. You know, you got to give more than you're willing to take. That's the thing. If you're willing to give more than you're willing to take, that's a virtuous man. If you got a man that's doing any of this stuff, man, you need to hold on to that man tight. And a virtuous man, a real good man, knows a good woman when he sees one. He knows a good woman when he's in her presence. If you're a good woman, and you know you're a good woman, he knows you're a good woman, that's a good man. Because most men don't even know a good woman. Wouldn't know a good woman if a good woman walked up to him and bit him on the leg. Because we don't know. We haven't been shown what good women look like. All our women look like, you know, the BET Awards where they're shaking their behinds all over the place. That's a small list, JP. That's a small list. But I know I can tell already you're going to make a video about that. You can put some other stuff on that list too, or make your list, JP. You tell me what a virtuous man looks like. My girl Glenda. The few that were taught it takes a village and those who know will pass that knowledge on to others. Yeah, Glenda, but that's what me and JP saying. That it's not that many people out there putting that kind of knowledge out there. See, back in the day, we had the Cosby Show. We had the media helping us. Now the media is against us. The music is against us. We had songs that were singing to you about being with your family and doing everything. Now we don't have that in the Black community. In the Black community, all of the music is about having sex and doing drugs. That's it. That's it. Ain't no love. Ain't no, I want to make a family. Ain't none of that no more. It's just having sex and doing drugs. And they like, hey, that's cool. So we got our work cut out for us. Then where is this village? JP, you heard that before. You heard that before. It takes a village. That's an old African saying. It takes a village to raise a child. Yeah, you heard that saying before. Discipline. JP again. Are the foundational principles for women the same? No. Some are, but some aren't. In a woman, what you need in a good woman is respect. Respect is the one thing you need in a woman. See, if you got respect, if a woman respects you, a woman can love you and still have sex with everybody on the block. But if she respects you too much to do something like that. She won't even be able to crawl in the bed and look herself in the mirror if she does something like that. So respect is the first thing. Plus, she respect you enough to not make you look bad in front of your children, even though you did something stupid. Why? Because most women don't realize that's going to affect the children. You going out and you going and putting your man down in front of your children, that is not going to affect the man. Well, it's going to affect him too, but it's going to affect the children more. Because the children are going to say, these people are crazy. I don't have anyone here I can trust. So what can I do? Oh, I need to go out to the street. I can trust Big Ron and Kev because they're going to just tell me the truth all the time. Hey, take this rock and make you some money. We are the village, Brother Clarence. I know. We are JP. We gotta, we just gotta push this out. We back in the day, there was a group called Tribe Called Quest, and it was all part of a group called the Native Tongues. It was all kind of different groups, but they all had a same vibe of trying to uplift the Black community. It was called the Native Tongues. So we are all the village. I'm taking notes. I don't know if you're taking notes. You already know most of this stuff, JP. What I do know is you're gonna go out there and put your own spin on it. I know that, and you're gonna make it work, and you're gonna make other people listen to you. You can break it down better than me. The few, Glenda, the few that were brought up being community oriented, it takes a village, each one teach one, etc. Whether those are still where they grew up or elsewhere, the knowledge can still be passed on. Yeah, I'm not saying the knowledge can't be passed on, Glenda. What I'm saying is it's so few people that's like that, and then it's so few people that willing to take the time to do it. It's so few. Most people ain't willing to take the time to do it because most of these people, anyway, forget the motorcycle. Most of these people ain't willing to do it because these youngsters are so hard headed. They feel like F them, man. Since they want to, they want to do it. They want to have hard heads. I remember I was working with a guy. Both of us got to this same job, young, good job. That same. I still have the job now, but we were both young when we got there, and he was doing bad. And so I went to all the brothers at the job, and I said, "Hey, man, can y'all get together and talk to this dude?" They was like, "We ain't gonna talk to him. He don't want this job. This good job. He don't want it. F him." He ended up getting let go. I tried to talk to him, but he wasn't listening to me. But I understand how they could get, feel that way. Anyway, JP, the poor righteous teachers. JP, what you know about the poor righteous teachers? What you know about PRT? Thank you for that. Yeah, JP, what you know about the poor righteous teachers? But yeah, we are a community, and we just got different ways of saying it. I'm gonna say it this way. JP is gonna say it another way. Big BG and his wife are gonna say it another way. I was listening to one of their videos today, and they just had that calm, smooth talk right here. You could just listen to them while sitting down, laying down, or something, and just fall asleep. Man, so everybody has their own different way. JP got her way, where she just stop and make you think. She ask you a question, make you think about it. I got my way. I just blast you. So, you know what I'm saying? But if we all coming from all different directions, that's why we don't say there's one major religion you ought to be. There's one way you got to come. No, we don't say that because there is no mono way to do anything anymore. This world is so wide open with the internet. It's opened up the world so wide open that you got to have many different ways of getting to people. So we got to come at them these different ways. I'm not going to get everybody JP's going to get. JP's not going to get everybody I'm going to get. Big BG and his wife ain't going to get everybody I'm going to get. They're going to get other people that I won't get. Blenda's going to get other people that I won't get. Mr. Stewart's going to get other people that I won't get. You know what I'm saying? So we all got a different way, but we all are a village. Absolutely. JP at Glenda Shivers. In 2021, the motto has to be each one teach 1,000. Woo. Every one of us can't get on YouTube and get to 1,000 subs with the community mindset and change the narrative. That is my goal. Oh, yeah, you said every one of us can get to on YouTube and get to 1,000. Absolutely. 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 And we got to just keep pushing each other's program until we get there. JP, let me see. I was at 5% for a few years, Bro Clarence. Still hold true to many principles. I was a 5%. Oh, you were a 5%er. Yeah. Hey, whatever works for you. You know what I learned? You know what? When I first came into Muhammad's Mosque, I was hard driving. And they taught us to watch out for the 5% Nation, the John Muhammad Nation. They taught us to watch out for all of them. But what I learned after a few years is, hey, if that works for that person, fine. As long as they're not trying to put me in a fix, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't see them lead somebody away, leading somebody to their death. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? That information, because there's people, I met people that Clarence 13X's information saved their life. I met people like that. So how could I say, oh, well, 5% Nation, that ain't no good. That ain't, you ain't talking about Ms. Farrakhan. So no. I can't say that. Well, I wouldn't say that for Christianity or anybody. I follow a lot of Christian preachers because I can rock with the truth no matter whose mouth it's coming out of. How about that? And so we all got to be like that. I can rock with the truth no matter who's coming out of, no matter what color they are, no matter whose mouth is coming out of. If that works for you, man, make it work for you. You know what I'm saying? Spread your wings and go ahead. And we was taught spreading your wings means opening up the book. The book is like the wings. Spread your wings and get the information, get the knowledge out of the books, right? I'm just talking y'all head off, but you know what I mean? I just think I started off on Rush Ribbons and that situation about the sisterhood, but we got off onto a lot of different topics. But we just talking, you know what I'm saying? We just hitting it up. JP, most of us at ground level don't move on the politics of the pulpit. We move on the core message of peace, compassion, and community, no matter what the doctrine. Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? That's it. You know what I mean? As long as you ain't throwing a spear my way, we're good. You know what I mean? If that works, any situation work for you. We used to when me and brother first came into the nation, man, we was clowning Christian people. I look at that now, I'm so embarrassed about doing that. We used to clown Christian people. And I have family members that was Christians. And we used to clown them. But as I got older, I realized, hey man, you know what I mean? This ain't gonna work for everybody. The set of discipline that's here, that may not work for everybody. And just like set of Christianity discipline there may not work for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But if this person, and I met some people that was good people, that was Christians, some real good people. I could, you know what I'm saying? It's like a come to Jesus moment. You have a moment where you say, I can't keep believing this way. I can't keep believing this way. Because if I continue to believe this way, that's a lie. It's just like people think, oh, you guys hate white people. No, we actually don't. Prophet Muhammad was a white man. Why would if we hate white people, why would we follow a white man? But me personally, I had two white people save my life. A white boy and a white lady. Two nurses saved my life. I was going to die. They saved my life. So I can't be like, oh, well, you in this color of a skin, therefore you just totally evil. That's just, I learned. That's not the reality. It may be, group wide, it may be some issues, but I go person to person. I'm going person to person. If I get in a group wide situation, then I might have to change my situation, change my thinking process. But long as I can go person to person, hey, I got to deal with the person as how they present themselves to me. If they present themselves to me as a good person and can help me, and I can help them, hey, I don't care what package you in. I don't care what package you in. Now, why do you help black people? Why are you so involved with trying to help black people? Because that's and I'm looking at this thing like in a big emergency room. This planet is a big emergency room right now. And I see black people as the people that need to, they know how like the ER doctor, he come in, he don't get the person with a headache. He go get the person with a heart problem, right? Well, that's the most important person. That's the person in the most need at the time, right? That's what I see. I see us, we are the ones that's most in need at the time. At this time right now, we are most in need of virtuosity, healing, business, the science of business. We're in need of so many different things. So that's why I focus my attention on black. And I see so many black men with so much gap in their understanding that it's just, I probably would have made more. I probably be monetized right now if I was out there just saying different things about talking about this or that. But I knew this was going to be a hard swing because you're talking about black people and trying to put them in a good place. Gonna take time. My girl Glenda, I keep it old school, hands on. People come to my house to learn to cultivate. Okay, cool. Make their own beauty products, candles, plant-based foods, everything. Hey, Glenda, keep doing it. Keep doing it. And one day, maybe we can all network and put together and flip each other's products, and we can all do that. We can build from right here. We look back on this situation when it was just the three of us on the live stream, and we can laugh about it. But we just got to keep on building. We just got to keep on building. You know what I mean? Our people don't know what the science of. We were never taught the science of business. When I say we, I'm talking about black people in America. We were never really taught the science of business. So that's how come we fell at it much more than other people, because we weren't taught the science of business. So we got to learn the science of business, the science of networking. We got to learn all of these sciences so that we can build our community, so that we can get some things done. We can get some things done, because unfortunately, our people are in the trap of thinking that voting is going to help them, and voting is not going to help them. Business is going to help them. When you get a business community that can put pressure on political candidates, then your vote matters. But when you don't have a business community that can put pressure on political candidates, why do they have to do what you want them to do? You ever notice that? If you look at what political candidates tell black people, when they go to the white communities, they tell them, we're going to put a road there. We're going to put a bridge there. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Right? You elect me, I'm going to roll your taxes back. I'm going to make it so you can get a gun. Black people, what do they say? We're going to do better. Keep hope alive. It's never nothing specific what they're going to do for you. Why? Why don't they tell you anything specific they're going to do? Because they don't tell you anything specific that they're going to do is because you don't have a business community that can put pressure on these political candidates. See, white people have business communities. They have industries that they can put pressure on the political candidate. They can put pressure on them. They have what they call a lobbyist that can put pressure on these people to say, hey, if you don't do this, we're not going to give you this money, and we're not going to vote for you. Right? What do you do? Nothing. You have nothing. And they don't have to work for your vote, right? Most black women, what political party do most black women go with? The Democratic Party. They go to the Democratic Party. They don't even have to, the Democrats don't even have to do anything to get black women's vote. They just say, hey, don't vote for Trump, right? They don't even have to do nothing. They just say, don't vote for Trump. If you don't vote for us, you vote for Trump. When they're not doing nothing for you either, the Democrats. So that's why it's a small process, a slow process. We got to get jobs so we can invest in business, so we can build businesses, so that we can put pressure. There's a book called Poweronomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. It's a good book. It's expensive, but it's worth reading. Good book. Go get that book. But it describes the hierarchy of how one thing leads to another thing. The business community leads to the judicial community, and the judicial community leads to this community. It leads to different things that empowers a people. But we are not even at the first level, which is you need a business and industry where you got people that can put pressure on your political candidates to make them do stuff, to make them promise you stuff. Look at the Asians. The Asians have a crime protection bill for them. Shout out to them. But I'm saying they got a crime protection bill that protects them. If you do anything to an Asian person, you can be charged for the federal crime. I'm talking about going to Leavenworth prison, right? Or one of these federal prisons, right? Just for doing something just for doing something violent to an Asian person. The LGBT community, they got it so you can be charged with a federal crime just doing something violent to an LGBT person. You and me, black people, we put knots on each other's head, go to prison, and anybody can put a knot on our head. We put knots on each other's head, and anybody else can put knots on our head, and we'll walk out of jail 3 days later. Nothing. That person might not even get charged because it's us. But we don't have no industries that can put power on these political candidates. It all starts from the thinking. It all starts from the bottom level. We got to get businesses, but we got to get our young men to understand that they need to be in the business community. Jobs are cool, but a job is just something you're doing until you can start your own business. So you worked there 20 years. Okay. It take you 20 years, 30 years to start your business. Okay, cool. But that's what you should be doing, creating a society. See, a woman's job is to bring a society into this world, bring babies into the world. A man's job is to set up a society, a righteous society. That's our job, is to set up a righteous society. It's hard to set it up in a place like America because it's a wilderness, right? It's a wilderness. People wild here. You know what I mean? They burned down Black Wall Street. It's wild. But we can't let that stop us. We got to just keep going and going and going and going and going. I know I talked about a lot of different topics, man. I wanted it to be Free Thinking Thursday. So I let off. If anybody got a question about any of the things I said, please, I appreciate you, JP. I appreciate you, Glenda. I appreciate everybody who's still on the stream. I appreciate all of y'all. And, and y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Glenda, keep doing what you doing. JP, keep doing what you doing, because I can't reach those people. You reach those people, and there are going to be people you can't reach that I can reach. So, you know what I'm saying? We got to just keep doing what we doing and supporting each other. That's all we can do. You know what I'm saying? But something else I wanted to talk to you guys about, ask your opinion about. What was it? I want to ask you guys, especially you two. Okay, here, I got it. There's a couple different things, but here's one. Okay, this is for you guys that's still on the stream. Why do Black women feel like they can be as disrespectful to Black men, and Black men are supposed to take it and still want to be in relationships with them? Why do they feel like that? I mean, is there something innate? I really feel like it's something that the men are doing, that the women are looking at them and saying, well, it's a bunch of different things. But one of the things is the men, they're looking at the man saying, this ain't my guy. So there ain't no point in me trying to act like this is my guy. Let me just get my free meal and go home. Can anybody out there tell me that? Why do women, particularly Black women, feel like it's okay to be disrespectful to Black men? Like they feel like they're in a good place doing that. Well, let me put my thoughts out there. I'm waiting for you guys to answer, but let me put my thoughts out there. My thought is, besides the man doing something, obviously, to make the woman feel like it's okay to do that, I think the advent of social media, and a woman can get instant validation with likes and views, as opposed to waiting for a man to buy her stuff and do stuff. She can get on OnlyFans and have a dude just cash out her $300 or $400. So if you ain't doing all of that right away, you're moving too slow, unfortunately. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna wrap this up. Because we've been going for an hour 49 minutes. Holy smokes. Yeah, so thank y'all for coming through to my live stream. Sometimes if the lead attorney's not on, I'll do an impromptu live stream on Thursdays. And like I said, we just gotta promote each other. If y'all want to promote something, I'm being just like the lead attorney. You got a video you want to promote, just pump it up here. I don't have no moderators yet. I don't need them, but we can still push each other's videos and give each other traction. You know what I mean? And Glenda, I don't know if you got a YouTube page, but if you do, or you need to start one, like the lead attorney said, you need to start one, and let's push each other's programs. Anyway, with that being said, as always, I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate all my hardcores who stopped in the building. JP, the expiring matriarch. Go check her channel out. Man, she she dropping knowledge on you too. Glenda, I don't know if you have a page, but if you have one, kick it, put it up in here so I can promote it. I can push it out there. Check out Blind Guy, his wife, Our Life. Check out that page. And I don't know if Mr. Stewart has a page, but if he has a page, go check out Mr. Stewart. Who else we got in here? Friendsgiving. Go check out her page. I don't know if she got a page, but go check her page out. And who else? I got all my hard drives. So Snuggles 668. She got a page. Check her out. Go check everybody out that's out there. We've been spending the whole evening talking about different things related to Black culture, how we can turn things around with Black people. If you want more information, like I said, you can watch this whole video. I'm about to close it out. I've been on here. I be inviting you guys to come on, but I understand. Believe me, I understand. Some of y'all are in a whole different time zone. I got it. It's almost 7:00 here in LA. You guys are probably, JP, you ain't got no excuse because you still in my time zone. I think you in Arizona. You still in my time zone. So you ain't got no excuse. But I'm going to let you slide, girl. One of these times I'm going to catch you slipping and have you come on the live stream. But anyway, yeah, the rest of y'all understand. And I know you're probably doing other things and you're probably just listening to it or you're just going to come back to it later. So I appreciate y'all. Anybody out there have any questions or want to jump on a live stream before I shut it down? I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. And after that, we're going to call it a day. And, you guys know Sunday morning between 11 and 12, between 11:30 and 12:30 is when we usually do our live stream. So catch us then every Sunday. This little live stream is just me, just trying to do free thinking. But y'all come and catch us. All right, y'all. Until then, I'm going to let y'all go. Peace. Y'all stay good, and we'll see y'all Sunday. Peace. Thanks.